We'll start. We'll chant Omkara and start. You can chant along with me. Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om. Yo Namaha. Hari Om. My pranams to all. Slowly open your eyes. So, a few people joining online and very few joining offline. Just to give a quick introduction, this is the first session, and the session is called Atma Darshana program. And how many sessions are there? Typically, the earlier batches had one session per month, but in the new batch, I'll be doing 2 sessions per month, and it's open. There are no rules, regulations, no expectations, nothing of any sort. We're just meeting to discuss on what is reality, understand what is the truth, and we'll navigate via our current understanding, where we are, what questions are there. If there are no questions, we sit silently. If there are questions in a conversation to answer to figure out what the answer is. Not that I have all the answers. So there is no organization here. There is no fees. In that sense, there is no guru also. It's just people sitting and having a conversation, trying to find what is real. And in trying to find what is real, so many things will emerge. And that is for you to judge if it's beneficial or not. So open forum at any point of time. You want to go, you can go. At any point of time, you want to stop, you can stop. But I'm available to share insights. That's the format. Okay. So you were not aware of there was an assignment that I shared before, like a preparation before coming to the session. So we are at a common starting point. Otherwise, spirituality is a jungle. What is spirituality? It's very hard. There's no 2-mark answer. People are at come with various understanding, various experiences, expectations. So, but the one common ground where all of us meet is the destination. It's a journey. People start from different places. Like rivers start from different places, but ultimately they all meet in the ocean. So that is what connects people in the so-called spiritual world. That's what becomes a satsang, where all of the people who are coming in, regardless of where they're coming from, how they got there, somehow they got there accidentally. From there, how far is the destination, and is there any shortcut or sort of shortcut? So is there any way to reduce the learning curve, or first understand what to learn, and is there if whatever is being learned, is it useful? So to understand various dimensions of the mind, body, and life. But ultimately, it should lead to a better experience in life. If it leads to more pain, more suffering, if it becomes another burden, oh my God, already I had so much work, now I have to do spiritual work also. And already I was taking care of family, I was doing office work, I have to earn money, I have to do so many things, I have to take care of my health. Now I have to take care of God also. Now that becomes a big burden. So is it the whole spiritual journey unburdened? Right? Are you burdened right now? No burden. Relaxed. Now, do you want this burden there? If you're relaxed, why Kamaka you want to enter into this game? No, don't want all this. Okay. So, people who were joining online, did any of you go through the Brahmagnana Vali Mala Sutra? पन्ना जी पढ़ा आपने?
हाँ,
क्या समझ में आया?
कुछ तो समझ में आया, कुछ नहीं आया, ज्यादातर ही नहीं आया.
क्या क्या
Like,
समझ में आया?
समझ में आया that we are self, we are not attached. मतलब attachment नहीं है. Like, you know, we are all alone here.
All alone.
मतलब any kind of attachment, you know, we don't, हमें रखना नहीं चाहिए.
किसे? Who is we?
We मतलब like we मतलब family, you know, nature, universe, मतलब we किसी के साथ रखना नहीं चाहिए. We have come here.
आप शुरू कर, आप आगे बोलने से पहले you can understand Hindi, right? Yes. Okay. So पहला rule class में, first rule of class. Only talk about yourself.
Okay.
Okay. So the we, the word we, आप शायद आपने आपके हस्बैंड से सीखा है, वो ऑफिस में काम करता है ना, वो वहां से आता है. ये वी वर्ड ज्यादातर मैनेजर्स यूज करते हैं जब भी कोई अच्छा काम होता है. When something goes really good, what do you say? You say I. There's a potluck, then everybody collaborated. There's a collaboration, but I did it. But when things go bad, when in the office, if something goes bad, if you observe managers, they'll do this. When the project is successful, they'll say, I did it. I take credit. Oh, thank you, sir. Yes, I only did it. Worked really hard. Yeah, my team did this, but I was the inspiration. Right? But when things go bad, we did it. We did a mistake. आप करते हैं?
नहीं.
बच्चा कुछ कर दिया, we did it. We made a problem. We made a mistake. बच्चा अच्छा किया, ट्रॉफी लेके आया, हाँ मेरा बच्चा है. तो कुछ गलत होता है, you say we. So first principle of spirituality is don't include other people in your ignorance. Because there is no way you know what is happening in another person's mind. For all you know, the whole world is peaceful and enlightened. But what you can always talk about is yourself. तो बोलिए फिर से sentence, just rephrase the sentence.
वही है कि I forgot.
You forgot.
Like I'm free. Like I am not attached to you know, anything.
Okay.
Like I shouldn't be attached to anything. Sab kuch, you know, you told like it's a dream.
Okay.
कुछ भी आए तो उसको as a, अगर it's very tough, then think that it's a period of time ये एक ड्रीम है, ये चला जाएगा when you know
Okay.
it's
Class हो गया आपका. That's all. You're not attached.
मतलब नहीं सिर्फ वो नहीं, then you know like और भी like I should have the power to control myself, you know.
Okay.
ये मतलब मुझे इतना ही समझ में आया जितना मैंने देखा है, you know, overall.
Okay. ठीक है. Good. Soumitra, did you go through it?
Yes, partly. It's a long one. It was a bit difficult to completely interpret, but in essence, what I understood is like I am everything and I am nothing, dissolved and obsolete from all those materialistic attachments which the world brings, which is more or less Maya.
Okay.
And ultimately, I am pure consciousness.
Okay. So that's all is the teaching. That's all is the session about. What more do you want to know then?
A bit more elaborative understanding of this, yeah.
For what? Are you convinced with that statement? I am consciousness.
Yes and no, both.
Yes and no, both. It can't be both. How can it be both? I understand and I don't understand both.
I understand parts of it.
It's like
but
multiple
not
personality syndrome. One part of me understands, one part of me doesn't understand. Either you understand or you don't understand it.
No, I understood it to a certain extent, but would like to inquire more on that.
So I am consciousness is the teaching. Okay, that is in any spiritual tradition you go to, the teaching is I am consciousness. I am Shiva or I am Brahman. Okay, the language I'm going to use right now is the Vedantic language. The word I use is Brahman. Brahman is absolute reality, and that is in English we call it as consciousness. So I am consciousness. I think of myself as something. I'm not that. I am consciousness. This is all as a teaching. It's the simplest teaching. There's nothing more, nothing less. That's all. I am consciousness. Now the problem is, you have questions. Oh, how can I be consciousness? How can I be God? God doesn't have the stress of life. God doesn't have targets. I have targets. Right? God doesn't have responsibility. God has powers. I don't have powers. Right? God doesn't have suffering, but I have suffering. God doesn't have pain. I have pain. God is totality, but I am not. I'm small. God doesn't age, but I age. God doesn't die, but I die. So there's a clear mismatch. The equation is Tattvamasi, you are that. But somewhere it's not matching. Okay? The mind rejects it. Whole spiritual journey is that rejection is resolved by understanding this teaching. That's all. Everything else is just a pop and show, marketing. If you're able to be at peace with the statement, I am consciousness, there is no rebellion from inside. Not that it's suppressed, it's resolved by answering and in the dialogue. That's the whole point of a dialogue with the master. That's what is called Upanishad. Have you heard of the word Upanishad? What is Upanishad? Upanishad, people think it's a book. Upanishad is a process of resolving all the questions and doubts the mind has, which rejects the statement, I am consciousness. Upanishad. It's a dialogue. Upanishads, all Upanishads are dialogue between master and disciple. That's all. Every Upanishad, without an exemption. Every Upanishad is just a master resolving the questions of the disciple. So that this equation you're able to digest and be at peace with. What happens if your consciousness, what is consciousness? That is what the session is about. To understand how the statement is true. Soumitra, clear? So what is not acceptable about the statement? I am consciousness. You said yes and no. What is the no part?
No, as in, I feel like we are too naive to understand the essence of it, right? So we are limited, and I mean everyone here who is sitting in this actually.
How can you comment about everyone there? Maybe other people are more enlightened and more intelligent. Are you including me also in that? We?
No, not in that sense.
So when you say we, you're including a Buddha, you're including Krishna, you're including everybody. Right? How can you generalize ignorance on the entire world? Is that in your experience?
No, it's I.
So again, tell the statement.
Yeah, I feel that I am too naive to understand the complete essence of this actually shloka. So, I mean, what I understood is just the translation part of that. Now, why I am here is to understand it in the real essence of it actually.
Okay. So, we'll explore what happens if you understand I am consciousness. The shloka was just to get you introduced to the final teaching, the direct teaching. This path, this session is called the direct path. Okay. There are many paths to realize the truth, and there is a direct path. Like there are many ways to go to the airport, but there is the right way, the fastest way, the most logical way, and it's a path of logic. It's not a path of mysticism. Okay. What is the difference between path of logic and path of mysticism?
What was the shloka?
So I asked them, the assignment was to go through a teaching called Brahma Gnana Varimala Stotra. It is a poem written by Adi Shankaracharya. So it is the teaching, it is a summary of the Upanishads. So it starts with Satkrit Shravana Matrena Brahma Gnanam Yato Bhavet. The first statement that he makes is, you've heard this word called enlightenment. Have you heard? You've heard.
Yes.
You've heard this called Jivan Mukti. Mukti.
Yes.
Right? Enlightenment. So what that is, we'll figure out. But you've heard it, right? Everybody's heard it. This word called Mukti and enlightenment. Okay, that Mukti and enlightenment is called Brahma Gnana. It's called knowledge of Brahman. Brahman is absolute reality, totality. Okay. So when you know God, you become God. That is the teaching. And the Guru is saying, the Shankaracharya is saying, Satkrit Shravana Matrena Brahma Gnanam Yato Ved. That's how it starts. Satkrit Shravana Matrena Brahma Gnanam Yato Ved. What the Brahma Gnana is, we will go to explain. We will go to discuss. But first of all, first statement made is, how do you get that? And he says, Satkrit Shravana Matrena, only by listening. And that's called the direct path. Not by doing anything, not by going somewhere, just by listening to the truth from the master. So the whole spiritual journey is like this. So there was a man who wanted to get spiritual realization. He wanted to become enlightened. He also doesn't know what it is. He only has heard it from stories. Okay, from stories, there is some very big picture painted from the stories and movies and everything. That you become powerful, you become larger, that you see some light, then you become free from suffering, right? Then people will fall at your feet. There are so many connotations to the word enlightenment. But one common understanding is it's always something superior to your existing life. In that, nobody argues. The whole world agrees upon what is enlightenment. They don't understand. They might not know, or they might not be able to elaborate. But they are in consensus that it's something beyond what we know. Okay. So this person obviously wanted something beyond what you know, because whatever you have is not enough. That's the principle of life. The moment, until you have something, you want it. The moment you have it, you want something more. Okay. Now I want the highest. What is the highest you can have? What is the highest thing that you can have in life?
I feel it's God. That's what we
You
have.
feel it's God.
Yes.
That God is enlightened. To get the highest is enlightenment. So there have been billions of people that are born on the planet, and everybody's endeavor is to get the highest in some way or the other. But they set their own milestones. For me, this is the highest. For somebody who is earning 1,000 a year, getting 1 lakh is the highest. It's the biggest achievement in life. For somebody who's earning 1 lakh a month, getting 10 crores is the highest. Okay, then they say, okay, if I get that, I have reached my goal. But whatever goal you reach, whatever goal you set, and whatever goal you reach, and whatever goal has been set in the past by all the people who have lived, and whatever has been achieved so far, compared to all of that, everybody understands that there is something higher, and that is what's called enlightenment. That is called freedom from more want. That's why it's called mukti. Mukti means reaching a state, we don't know what it is, if it is state, reaching some place where I am fulfilled.
Vairagya.
Vairagya is detachment.
Yeah.
Detachment is, you are, it doesn't, the object doesn't call you. Detachment doesn't mean desirelessness. For example, do you drink alcohol? You don't. So if there's a bottle here, you're detached. Somebody who drinks alcohol is attached to the object. The object calls the person. It is in their experience. So their attention goes there. Your attention doesn't go there. But that doesn't mean you're detached to an object. But that doesn't mean you're desireless. Your object of interest is something else. You understand? So Vairagya is, you are detached from an object. But Vairagya doesn't mean desirelessness. You understand? Vairagya means, it's actually the word Vairagya in Sanskrit. It means Vairagya. Raga means like, desire. Vairaga means Vishesha Raga, means special desire. That means somebody who you have a special desire for the higher, so you are detached to the lower. Simply because you are attached to the higher, you are detached to the lower. That is Vairagya. That doesn't mean you are desireless. You are attached to the higher, that's all. A child, I typically give an example of a child. The child is attached to a toy, but it gets Vairagya to the toy when it gets attached to a bigger toy. You understand? But the game of the mind has not stopped. The game of the mind, the tendency of the mind to hold the outer is not stopped.
So Vairagya itself is not enough. Right?
You tell me.
Yeah, Vairagya itself.
I told you what is Vairagya. Vairagya means Vishesha Raga.
Because
Raga is a problem.
this attachment, you are again attached to something else.
Yeah.
There is no end to that.
There's no end to that.
Right?
So you have to become free from Raga.
Yes.
Raga, Dvesha, Vimukta is two. So Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Raga, Dvesha, Vimukta is two. Vishaya, Indriya is two. Atma Varshe, Vidaya, Prasadamati Dachita. To find something which is beyond desire, which ends, or rather, which quenches all my desire, quenches all my thirst. We'll come to that. I'll come to functioning part. Okay. Because I've still not explained what it is. It's still very abstract right now. So the whole journey of spirituality is whatever is abstract has to become logical and transparent and concrete. If it is not, then you're living in delusion. Right now, you're making the statement, won't you stop functioning? Because it's still an abstract concept. Right? So for the one who is clear, is functioning. For example, we believe that Buddha has it. Whatever abstract we're talking about, for example, Buddha has it. Has Buddha stopped functioning? No. That means that, so then you need a correction in understanding of what it is. That's all. You understand? So spirituality is not about dictating actions. Spirituality is not about actions at all. Spirituality is about clarity of thought. understanding the clarifying whatever is not clear about the absolute reality, not about anything else. So the focus is absolute reality. What happens? What is the benefit of that? What happens if you clarify that? Is the session about. So it's like peeling an onion. Every session we peel one layer by another layer. Then we'll see what is there inside. Okay. So this enlightenment, the endeavor is for the highest. So at some point of time, people come to an understanding that enough is enough. I want to get the highest, something beyond. So this man wanted something this beyond enlightenment, and he starts. He has a wife and a job and everything. He stops all that, packs his bag, and he has some understanding that you have to go to the mountain and meditate to get that. So he starts his journey. Okay, starts the journey. He goes towards the mountain. Then on the way, in the journey, he comes across a river. It's a very big river, and he's not able to cross it. There's no way he can swim across because he doesn't know swimming. And he doesn't see any way to cross over. There's no bridge. He walks this side, he walks that side. He doesn't find a way to cross the other side, go to the other side. Then there's a man on the other side. He sees him, the old man. He waves out and he asks him, shouts, "How do I get onto the other side? Okay. I have to reach somewhere. How do I get onto the other side?" Everybody following the story? Saumitra Panna. So then the old man looks at this guy and he looks left and right. He looks at the river. Even he sees there's no bridge. Then he looks at the man and he says, "But you are on the other side." Okay. At that moment, it is said that the man got enlightened and he went back home. Went back home to start functioning again. Went back to his job, went back to his family. This is the journey of spirituality. It is to find something which is already there with you, but which escapes your mind. It escapes your thought process because it is in the background. Okay, it's like this. It's like you go to the movie. There is a screen. Let's say you go to the movie is already started. Then you don't see the screen. Okay, you only see the movie. To see the screen, you have to wait for the movie to be stopped, interval. Okay. Now the screen doesn't come in after the movie stops. It's always there. It is just that it's covered by the movie. In the same way, Bhagwan is the reality even at this moment. But the mind, the thoughts in the mind are covering it. Okay. Now, when do you, at least movie, you have an interval. TV, you have a break. For everything, you have a break in life. But is there a break for your thinking process? The mind never stops. It doesn't give you a moment of gap to see the screen, to see what is beyond it, to experience something in the absence of the constant images projected by the mind. Does it happen? You try to close your eyes. You say, no, I'm going to stop the mind. I'm going to see the screen. Close your eyes. Then the mind opens up internal movie, images, typically from the past. Okay, typically it opens from the past. All the आता है आपको पन्ना जी, आंखें बंद करो तो पिक्चर चालू हो जाए. पिक्चर अभी बाकी है. मन बोलता है पिक्चर अभी बाकी है. Right? Is there any moment where the picture stops? आप म्यूट पे है.
Maybe when we sleep.
So when you sleep, when you go into deep sleep, the picture stops. But even in dream, there is a picture is going on. Okay? But in deep sleep is when the picture stops. Then the screen reveals itself, and that's when you experience bliss. and peace. Okay. That bliss and peace is Bhagwan. That bliss and peace is the screen. Now the problem is not in deep sleep. In deep sleep I get it fine, but I cannot sleep all the time. I have to wake up and I have to work. Right? The problem is I'm seeing constant sound and images in my waking state, which is also fine. I'm seeing the world, I'm hearing the sound, which is fine. But the problem is there's one constant voice in my head that's going on, showing me pictures and creating sound. Okay. If that stops, my problem is resolved. So the understanding of spirituality is the only suffering in life is that guy who's creating the images and sound. There's a drama company inside your head. Full production. Okay, there's a whole production set. Their job is only to project. Keep on projecting stories. Thoughts after waves after waves after thoughts. Okay? And sound. Sound, lights. What is it? Lights, camera, action. The lights, camera, action goes on in your head. Physically, you might not do something, but mentally, you're always moving. You're thinking about action. You think about what you should have done and what you should not have done. Does that go on? So that is called suffering. That is called world. The world actually doesn't affect you. What affects you is the internal world. Freedom from that light, sound, and action is called mukti. Why? Because it is stopping of the moving. And that is what is called meditation. Have you heard of this word called meditation? Any one of you have done meditation here? Have you tried meditation? What is meditation?
It's very difficult, but yes, I do.
Is it? Oh, tell me what is the difficult
No,
part?
I just close my eyes and say, I mean, the number of thoughts which come in, but still it goes on.
What goes on?
I just close my eyes, try not to think about that, but I can't control that.
So meditation is typically, people think you close their eyes and everybody is in consensus that closing the eyes is meditation. First thing, close the eyes. Then you're fed up of the outer world. Now some inner world opens up. In the inner world, it's like ghosts come up. Okay. What is ghost? Ghost is not there. So in the world, many ghosts are there. Have you heard this word? What is the word for ghost in our country? Bhoot. Bhoot, right? Have you heard this word called bhoot?
Yeah.
You know what is bhoot? Bhoot means past. Bhutkal, Bhavishya or Vartaman Kal. Have you heard? Have you learned in school? Bhutkal, Bhavishya Vartaman Kal. So our ancestors said, Bhoot is your past, which comes in the moment you close your eyes, your past opens up. They come like ghosts. And ghosts try to sway you, okay, in their direction. So you hold some thought thread and you go. And it will take you. Oh, uस दिन ऐसा हुआ था, वहाँ ऐसा हुआ था. It's like you take like a guided tour. One person is constantly giving commentary. You fell down here, then this person laughed, then this person hit you. Right? It's a guided commentary. होता है Soumitra? Huh? So this person was there. They humiliated you. So typically, have you observed that Booth always takes you to painful memories? The moment you go to good memories, you want to exit it because somehow you're not comfortable there, which is very absurd. You should spend more time in the good memories, but predominantly you get pulled by experiences that have hurt you. What that? That's called bhut. So bhut kahan hai?
अपने दिमाग में.
हाँ, अपने अंदर. It's all inside you, and they sway, and they pull your attention. Now, what happens is your attention, if it's pulled, is fine. You get pulled and you come back. But they constantly give a commentary throughout the day, your waking hour. That is a problem. Okay. So it's like this. You eat fruits. Mango season. Everybody's waiting for mango season. So most delicious mango. Now what happens if you keep the mango for 1 week? It rots. You can't eat it. Now imagine a mango that is there in nature, a fruit that is in nature, you cannot eat after 1 week or 2 weeks. Even if you have refrigerated, whatever, after some time, you cannot have it. How many rotten memories you have in your thought, in your mind? Something happened 20 years ago, 10 years ago. अभी है दिमाग में?
कुछ तो होता है, कुछ तो
अन्ना जी
रहता
अभी
है।
है?
हाँ,
So
few
mind is nothing but a bundle of memories, and all memories are rotten, without any every single one is rotten, because law of nature. Everything after some time expires, and what is expired? Rottens. In nature, if you observe nature, the process is birth, growth, rotten, decay, death, and then rebirth. Okay, that is what sustains life. If it stops at rotten, then there's a problem. Imagine you walk around the city, all the trees are rotten, you can't breathe. But in nature, it doesn't do that. The river, no matter how much you pollute the river, it somehow tries to rejuvenate. Human beings, if they disappear from the earth, within a few weeks, the earth will completely revamp. Okay, whatever damage you have done, it will repair. That is the law of nature. Now, what happens when you are going against the law of nature? You're holding the rotten. This is your memory. What happens then?
Stop that.
That's what the session is about. First, you understand the problem. The problem is, do you understand the problem now?
Yes.
You're a bundle of rotten fruits, which are to be thrown, which have no value. Actually, they don't have any value. What is the value? Tell me. You went through some experience. What is the value?
It's a pain.
Apart from the pain that it's giving, it has no value. Does it have any value? Which value है उसका?
नहीं,
ये आदमी ने ऐसा बोल दिया मुझे. उस मेमोरी का कुछ वैल्यू है? तो वो क्या वैल्यू है? वो मेमोरी आपको पिंजरे में रखता है. It binds you. It imprisons you. Somebody put a label on you. You are a idiot, or you're ugly, or you're something. Some label on you. You're a prisoner. You accepted that. That is a value. That means that statement still holds true today. That is the only value it has. Does it have value? Yes. It has the value of a jail. Whatever value a jail prison has, that value it has. To keep you in prison. समझ में आ गया पन्ना जी? तो इस भीतर के जेल से बाहर आना ही मुक्ति है.
But एक जो कहते हैं कि with this bad something if happened to you, it's an experience that you learn from that, और फिर भूल जाओ.
अरे बाप रे, whenever you recollect the experience, do you recollect the learning?
नहीं, मतलब उससे you get to know that
No, you tell me. You have lived whatever 30 years of life. Tell me one time where you have recollected the learning and been grateful to that experience.
नहीं.
You only experience the pain, no? Oh, ऐसा क्यों हुआ? मेरे साथ ही क्यों हुआ? You were not able to see beyond मेरे साथ ही क्यों हुआ? Right? The moment, of course, there's a learning and all that. You have learned also. You have grown up. You have learned not to talk to that person. All that you have done, but still you are not able to. That rotten fruit is still there. Okay? Why it is still there? I'll tell you. There's a reason why that is still there. Okay. And and the understanding that whole process of the rotten fruit, retaining the rotten fruit makes you free. First, you understand the disease. Okay, the problem kahan hai? Problem man mein hai. The only problem is this rotten memory. That's all. Imagine if you're just free from that memory doesn't arise. Is life different? It's not different. So two things are there. One is there's a rotten memory. It's called memory. And the second part is imagination. Memory is something that's already happened. It's dead. So mind is two parts. Memory and imagination. Right? Memory is something that happened. And memory also has two parts. Something that is useful, something that is objective, and something that is psychological. For example, this is a phone. Okay. Now, without memory, you cannot recall that this is a phone. This is my phone, and you need memory to operate. So, without memory, you cannot operate. You need memory of where's your house, otherwise you can't go back home. You need memory of what is your password. You need memory of who's your husband. Otherwise, if you lose memory, you cannot operate. So, memory is not the problem, but there is another virus in the memory, which is called the psychological aspect of the memory. Okay. This is my husband is memory. It's required. It's operational aspect. What is the psychological aspect? All the interactions and experiences. That is the virus. So spirituality erases the psychological noise, not the operational memory. You understand? So enlightenment doesn't mean I forget this is my phone. I forget where my house is. No. Enlightenment means you forget all the hurt associated. You forget all the baggage. The data is not the baggage. The virus that is there in the data is the baggage. Data is useful. Without data, you cannot operate. So mind is data. Okay. Memory is data. Past record. Past record is useful. Okay. If you touch fire, it will burn. It's a record. It is useful. Without that, it has a utility value. But what happens is, it has the data becomes corrupt. Corrupt data. What does corrupt data do to a system, Vivek? So it crashes. How many times a day you crash? So corrupt data crashes the system. Clean data makes the system efficient. Okay, that is why after enlightenment, people become efficient. After enlightenment, Buddha became efficient. As a king, he was inefficient. He didn't even work. But after enlightenment, he became more efficient because the data is there. He has all the data. Who is my father? Kingdom. I did this. I was born here. All data is there. But data is no longer corrupt. All the hurt, all the ignorance, all the rotten mangoes are thrown away. He becomes light. Now what happens is, see, you have to understand that your whole life is going ahead. You're living your life because of your brain. Okay? Imagine if you have somebody hits your brain, you cannot operate. Right? Brain is the key. Without hand, you can operate. Without leg, you can operate. Without brain, you're useless. You're a vegetable. Now the brain takes up most of your energy. Of whatever you eat, whatever you exercise, whatever you do, the one organ that takes most of your energy is your nervous system, which includes the brain. Right? Now all that energy it's an energy. It's like electricity passing through a system. What is that energy being used for? processing this memory, recollecting this memory, constantly living this memory. It's used to fuel this background noise. The moment you become free, then the energy also gets free. Now the system suddenly realizes, oh, there's no noise, but I have so much energy. Now that energy starts helping the mind to realize its potential. That's called enlightenment. When the energy gets free, okay, you becoming free from the images means your energy biologically, it has a biological reflection or connotation. The moment you become free from the image picture, now the screen is there. Now the screen is full of energy. Okay, and the screen is creative, it's divine. Now you have divinity plus energy, and that combination is what a Gnan is what an enlightened person is. समझ में आ गया? That is what you're wasting right now. So there was a person in here, in Karnataka, called Vishweshwaraya. Okay. What did he do? He was an engineer. So we celebrate his birthday as Engineer's Day in India. Sir M. Vishweshwaraya. He went to Jog Falls. There's a waterfalls in Karnataka called Jog Falls. He went there and he saw that the water was falling. He said, what a waste of energy. And then he built the KRS dam that supplies energy, that uses the energy of the waterfall to create electricity. Now, you, human being, is a bundle of infinite energy. Okay, how much you cannot even fathom. That much energy you possess. Okay, that's how you run your life. You're using that. You think, you ideate, you plan. All that is energy. Okay? It's not easy to build cities. Not easy to run the world. It needs energy, and it's all operating through human beings. Right now, the only problem is that energy right now is a slave. It's dissipated in your primordial response of fear and fight and flight. Have you heard of fight and flight? Fight means you have to be on alert. You have to fight. Like in India, everybody knows fight. So I went recently to Ireland. The children there have no competition. So the teachers tell them their education system is very different. Okay, because there are only a few people there. Population is very less. The population is lesser than the population of I think Karnataka, our state. So population is so less, so there's no competition. So the teachers say, take your time. The teachers don't, they're not very strict on the students. But here in India, there's so many people. If you have to get an engineering seat, you have to fight. There's a constant fight here because so many people are there and the resources are less. Okay, if you have to get a house, you have to beat somebody else. Okay, have you seen this movie called Three Idiots? In the beginning of the movie, the professor will throw a bundle of applications telling that all of you have defeated all these people and come here. So life is fight, competition. And to fight, you need energy. Can you fight without energy? To fight anything, you need energy. Right? Now, imagine constantly if you're in fight and flight. There are only two responses that animals know. Fight, when the predator comes, they'll evaluate. Can I take this person on? Then they fight. Then their nervous system releases the energy. They fight. Okay. Then they realize, I cannot, this is a bigger predator. Then more energy is released. You know why? To run. Running requires more energy. Okay. That is also fight. You have to beat the other person's speed. So in reality, there's no fight and flight. There's only fight. Because flight is also you're defeating the other persons in speed. Your energy, your brain, your life, and I say your brain, your entire life is focused on what? Fight. Constant battle. Either outer battle or inner battle. Outer battle is once in a while, you can escape. There's some problem in the office, you can come back home. But how will you escape the inner battle? Constant fight with the past and with the future. Now, I told memory and then imagination. Imagination is also a problem. Constantly the mind keeps projecting. God has given beautiful ability to imagine. But the imagination becomes delusion. Constantly project all the nonsense that can happen to your life. अगर मैं गिर जाऊंगी तो क्या होगा? If I lose my job, what will happen? If this happens, what will happen? It's constantly a negative force. The imagination takes over. Now you tell me. You're always in the state of fight, right? Internally and externally, and all energy is getting used for fight. Is that life? And living like this deteriorates the body and mind and ruins your experience of life. No matter what makeup you put on the outside to your life, to your world, no matter how pretty you make the walls, how pretty you make your face, how pretty you dress you wear, but you have not come out of fight, a mode of fight, right? Can I come out of this fight, okay, fight mode, and can I relax? It only happens in deep sleep. It happens naturally in deep sleep because there's nobody to fight with. Right? If somebody was there also you would fight. Even in your dreams, you're in fight mode. Are you not? Just because it's your imagination. Do you create a fightless dream? सोनाली जी, सपने में शांति है, सपने में भी वही रिकॉर्ड, सपने में भी अशांति, शांति है सपने में?
सपना आता ही नहीं है मुझे, बहुत
सपना आता ही नहीं है। सपना आएगा भी तब भी सेम मेमोरी आएगा।
हाँ, वही सब आता है।
जो भी आपका वेकिंग का प्रॉब्लम है वही फिर से प्रोजेक्ट होगा सपने में। तो इससे कुछ छुटकारा है क्या? इससे मुक्ति है? Is there freedom from this? Is the question of life. Okay, come to a point where you say, I don't want to fight anymore, but I want to live also. Okay, now it doesn't mean that if I don't now survive the fittest. If you don't fight, you die. It's not like that. I don't want to fight, but I want to have a beautiful life. Just because I don't want to fight doesn't mean I am ready to die. I don't want to fight. I want to live beautifully. And that is the beauty of this country. In India, the whole Indian civilization has worked towards this. To figure out a way that people can come out of the fight mechanism, become free from memory, become free from imagination, access their potential, access their energy, channelize their energy to activate various parts of their brain, express their creativity, and live a beautiful, divine life. This process.
ये इससे बाहर कैसे आ सकते हैं?
हाँ, अभी मैं शुरू कर रहा हूँ। अभी मैं प्रॉब्लम बता रहा हूँ।
मेरे साथ होता है, मैं बहुत ज्यादा ओवर थिंक करती हूँ।
हाँ,
अभी हुआ है
ये कॉमन है। इसे कहते हैं अविद्या। संस्कृत में कहते हैं अविद्या। ये आपका प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ये सब लोगों का प्रॉब्लम है। ओके, इट्स अ यूनिवर्सल प्रॉब्लम, इट्स कॉल्ड अविद्या. Avidya is lack of understanding of who you are. Okay, that makes you, the lack of understanding of the screen is because of the constant images that are running. To become free from the images is the whole journey. So when you become free from the image, rather, now what is happening is there's an image, but you're involved in the image. Okay. For example, I told you about memory, right? You get some bad memory. If it's just a passing memory, it's fine. But the moment a memory comes, you jump into it, you immerse yourself into it, you involve in it. The memory appearing is not a problem. Your involvement in that is a problem. Now, do you have a choice not to involve? Something happened in your life, when memory comes, it comes back with all its force, full force, with the feeling in the body, with the emotion and everything. But you immerse yourself in it. You give it reality. Is it real? It is dead. But why are you immersing yourself in it? You're immersing yourself in it because you think it is real.
The best way is to turn your memory out or think about something nice that has happened instead of thinking about something that has happened.
Does it work? You tell me. I'm
Sometimes.
sure you would have tried, right?
Sometimes, yes.
But does it solve the problem?
No, it doesn't.
It's not a painkiller. The avidya is a cancer. No painkiller will work. Which is what everybody's trying. Okay, people try alcohol. It numbs the pain. Okay, it gives you, but if a little more alcohol, it does the opposite. It opens up the memory. Right? You start hallucinating as if you're there. It blows up imagination. Then people try traveling. People try watching movie. People try workaholism. People try so many things. But everything is a painkiller. Meaning, it doesn't uproot the problem. You understand? It suppresses the problem. It makes you forget the problem for some time. But the problem comes back. And when the problem comes back, it is multiplied. Meaning, it comes back with the realization that the problem is not gone. I did something, but it is not gone. It comes back with more pain. Oh, I'm still there. You understand? It comes back with the thought of failure. Earlier there was memory. Now there's memory and failure. Okay, and both of them are, the failure goes on increasing, because every time you're only trying endeavors to escape that memory, and your record of failure is increasing. So you've come to a state where you're a big failure with a big junk, rotten memory. Earlier it was only memory. Now you're memory plus failure, which is more depressing. You understand? But then that comes to a boiling point where the person says, no, I want freedom from this. That is then hopefully, if there is divine grace, they come onto the right spiritual path. There are wrong spiritual path also. Okay, where the problem aggravates. The problem multiplies more and more. Wrong direction. So is there a clean path, a right path? Okay, something that is time immemorial, tried and tested, something that is universal, something that is real, and that is our starting point. And that path is called Vedanta. Vedanta is it's a very logical path. I told you, it's not at all mystical. It is a path to start from where you are, and you're only moving ahead with light. That light is the teaching of the Upanishad. The teaching of Atmanjnana, the teaching of who you are. Because the only subject discussed in Vedanta is you. Understand? The only focus of the Vedanta is you, the individual. And the essence of the Vedanta is Tattvamasi, to equate you to totality, Bhagavan. There's no more teaching. The only, all the other expressions of Vedanta is to bring more and more clarity how you are that. You understand? So what happens when I become that? Simply, you become free from the psychological aspect of the memory. You become free from the toxic imagination of the mind. Imagination will remain. Ability to conceptualize, imagine will remain. But not as a sickness, not as a corrupted mechanism. Okay? It is very focused. And that focused imagination, in tune with nature, is called divine. Okay. Otherwise, it's uncontrolled imagination. Now, one is you become free from the memory becomes clean. This is what is called as Chitta Vritti Nirodha. In the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the first statement Patanjali says, all the yoga that we know comes from Patanjali Yoga Sutra. First statement Patanjali makes is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Chitta is memory. Vritti is patterns in the memory. So the truth flushes out your memory. Meaning the memory remains. This is phone remains. But any trauma associated with the phone disappears. You understand? This is husband remains. Any trauma associated with the husband disappears. This is life remains. Any trauma associated with life disappears. You understand? This is body remains. Any trauma associated with disappears. You understand, everybody? And that is what memory. Memory flushes out. Then there is imagination. Imagination becomes in tune with the divine creativity. Simply because you're free from the imagination is going haywire because of memory. The root of the imagination is rooted in memory. The moment memory is cleared, memory is like the earth. Imagination is the flower. Now the flower is decaying or something is wrong with the flower because of the root. The moment the root is fixed, the flower is beautiful. You understand? The moment your burden is removed, the toxic memory, the corrupt data is removed, then the future becomes beautiful. And the future, the blooming, is called an enlightened life. It's compared to the lotus. See, all our Indian gods sit on the lotus. That is a lotus. It is a lotus that is the flower that has become free from corrupt data. And it also represents the energy, the biological energy, which is used by your brain. Now it's free to create a divine life. Otherwise, you're only recycling your life. Not even life. You're only recycling something that happened sometime. That means to say, let's say if you die at the age of 60 or 70, your summary of life is only one incident or one or two experiences. The rest of the life, you've only been reliving it in different ways. You understand? That is such a waste. That is what is being a prisoner to your past. That is what is being possessed by the bhut. Possessed by the bhut means everybody is possessed by ghost. The ghost called past. As long as that ghost possesses you, you are it's not a life, you're a zombie. Practically you're a zombie. You're not a human being. Only when you become free from the ghost, then you become human being. Now the energies, the child is a human being. The child still is not yet possessed by the ghost. So the child is in bliss. But the moment it starts growing up, the ghost possesses. So are you possessed by ghost, Pannaji? The past possesses you? Yeah. Sonali ji?
Yeah.
So you tell me, if you become free from this ghost, what will happen?
I will be happy. मैं खुश रहूंगी.
हाँ, वही बस है. अगर वो हो गया, that is the greatest blessing. If you're just able to be happy without any condition, unconditionally happy by yourself and peaceful, that is the journey of spirituality. That is the outcome also. The outcome, what will happen is you are peaceful and happy. You're no longer corrupt program. Whatever is required for your life, the energy gets used. Now the energy is not used for fight. That's all. Now, if it is not used for fight, what is it used for? It's usually used for something, right? Cannot just go waste. If it is not used for fight, what is the energy used for now? Creation is action. For example, fight is, like you say, punching is action, but fight is something more subtle. Creation is action, gross. What is the subtle? What is the energy used for? Earlier it was used for fight, constant fight. You're always fighting. You're fighting with yourself, your internal fight, fighting with memory, fighting with future, fighting with people outside. All the outer people who fight on the outside are fighting inside. If you're not fighting inside, nobody can fight outside. The fight is always internal. If a person, if a human being has no internal fight, he's incapable of external fight. As a reaction. Okay, Krishna is incapable of reactive external fight, but he's capable of fight as an action, as a conscious action. Meaning, you encounter somebody pushes you, immediately you push back. That is reaction. Okay, that is uncontrolled action. Because you are internally or in a constant mode of fight. You're not in the mode of fight. Somebody pushes you, it doesn't disturb your mental peace. First thing, it doesn't disturb your mental peace. Then you evaluate what is the right action required. If I have to push back, I push back. But that is an action, not a reaction. You understand? So now your energy is freed from that response to stimulus. Now, what is the energy used for? It has to be used for something. In nature, it cannot go waste.
Good.
Means what?
This can help everyone or
Now the energy is used for love. Fight is replaced with love. And what is love, you'll only understand when your energy is released. Until then, all your love is only concept. It's only chemical reaction. I love my child. Means what? Does the child create feeling of fight in you? Does the child create stress in you? No. Where there is no internal, the mind doesn't get disturbed, then you're not in a state of fight. If the child, you say, I love the child. Typically, people say, I love the child, provided the child behaves in ABCD way. In
should be
general,
unconditional. Right?
unconditional. It's supposed to be, but it's not like that. All our entire Bollywood is living on that fact that children don't fulfill their expectation of the parents. The child is, you have a child, and the child has to, if the child hurts you, then love disappears. I'm not targeting at you.
No,
I'm just telling in general,
in general, yeah.
what people think is love, most of the time, is just a chemical reaction. Love is only understood when you're free from the fight mode. How can you understand love when you're in a fight mode? So when you're in a fight mode, what is the meaning of being in a fight mode?
Almost agitated, right?
Means what?
Very immediate reaction.
Fight mode means I am important.
Yeah.
Self-sustenance.
Yeah.
That's why you're fighting, right? Fight means self-sustenance.
Yes.
I am important. So you're always about I, me.
Thinking about you.
How can you, when you think about me, you can have love? So by that standard, you have never known love. You will only know love, what is real love, when you become free from fight. When you become free from that, you knew love as a child. As a child, you knew love. But somewhere, that love got many connotations. First, it was unconditional love. Then the child learns, I need to love only these people. Okay? Because then I need to hate some people. The child is programmed. The adults start programming the child.
Correct choice.
Corrupt the, start putting in. How they do it? By solidifying the child's identity. Meaning by teaching this child to protect itself. Simply by teaching the child to fight. All children are only taught to fight. Exactly what an animal does. This is the exact same thing an animal does. The animal teaches the child to fight and run, fight. So all human beings are doing the exact same thing what animals are doing. What is the difference then? What should the human parent do to the child? Teach them love. But complete opposites happen. You're putting a child into already a war zone, constant war zone. And your child is from day one soldier. And the soldier is using all the energy, all resources, everything for self-sustenance. And how long can you live like that? To come out of this fight mode, to be free, to be at peace, is called mukti. How we can do that, I'll take up in this session. Today is the first session. Today Vedanta does this by a process called Prakriya. Prakriya means a methodology, a tool by which you dissect the memory. The memory is data, right? You have to open. There's an entry point and exit point. You have to open it up, take it out, put it back together. Okay, it's like a surgery. Exactly like a surgery. First thing of surgery is open it up. You have to open it up. Okay, you have to penetrate. That penetrating part is called viveka. Okay, it penetrates through logic. Viveka means very sharp, crystal clarity of what is what. What is body? What is mind? What is God? What is world? Penetrate into everything. When you penetrate and see, then you see through it. The moment you see through it, you're free from it. Right now, you're not able to see through it. You're not able to catch where it is. Every time you try to catch it, its position changes. Because it's a ghost. If a human being is there, you can catch it. You can put him in jail. Ghost, how will you catch? Right? So the guru is called Ghostbuster. Guru is like a Ghostbuster. He comes. He has a machine. Have you seen the Ghostbuster? It's a movie called Ghostbuster. They carry a machine. The machine catches the ghost. And this machine is called Prakriya. समझ में आ गया? सोनाली जी, पन्ना जी, सौमित्रा?
Yep.
Pallavi ji, are you following?
Namaste, Krishna ji. Yes.
So I don't know how long, I just saw you now. How long have you been on? Did you catch the thread so far?
Yeah, I was there from 20 minutes, but I had a guest, so I was speaking to her. Now
Okay.
I'm okay.
Okay. So catch this ghost, this corrupt entity, which is constantly creating sound, images, whenever you close your eyes or even with eyes open. Even eyes open, it's constantly creating sound. Eyes closed, it's constantly creating sound and images, not allowing you to see reality. To catch this ghost and to remove this ghost. The problem is, ghost is unreal. If something is real, you can catch it. How do you say catching a shadow? Avidya is like that. That's the problem. That is the whole challenge of spirituality. You're trying to catch something that doesn't exist. You're trying to remove something that doesn't exist. Okay? The only thing you can do is penetrate more and more, so the fact that it doesn't exist becomes a foreground. Then it stops bothering you. Then it disappears. Right now it doesn't exist, but you are giving reality to it by involving with it. So who is the problem? Who is the problem, Panna ji? अभी सुनाई नहीं दे रहा. Who is the problem?
The ghost, जो
Ghost नहीं, ghost तो है, ghost बोलेगा. आप क्यों सुन रही हैं ghost को बातों को?
जो अपने अंदर जो thoughts है.
अरे आप अपने अंदर थॉट्स है, वो थॉट्स कुछ कहते हैं, आप क्यों सुन रही हैं? तो प्रॉब्लम कौन है?
मैं.
हाँ बोलिए, कॉन्फिडेंटली बोलिए. तो यही स्पिरिचुअलिटी का पहला स्टेप है. Until you reach this point, you will not grow. Growth only happens when you accept that you are the problem. Only then change happens. Until then, you somehow subtly believe that the cause of my problem is something outside. I don't need to work on myself. But ego will never accept I am the problem. And that is called surrender. Surrender means it's a starting point where you say, fine, I am the problem. How I am the problem? I am the one who is giving reality to the ignorance. Why I am giving reality is because I was programmed that way. That is not your fault. Okay, if you were given this wisdom, this Atmagnana earlier, you would not be like this. But you are not given. Okay? But now when the opportunity is there, if you don't take it, then that is your responsibility. Okay? तो आपके जीवन में सारे प्रॉब्लम्स का, सफरिंग का कॉज कौन है?
हम खुद.
हम. कौन हम?
मतलब मैं खुद.
हाँ, खुद. इस विषय पे आप क्लियर है या कुछ बताना है?
नहीं.
क्लियर है? नहीं, मैं कैसे हो सकती हूँ? उस आदमी ने मुझको डांट दिया. अरे उस आदमी ने कुछ बोला, आपने उसको माना क्यों? कोई आदमी आके बोलता है गधे हो तुम. Okay, it is nature. In nature, some dog will bark. Okay? Dog barking is not the problem. Why are you reacting to it? Okay, now yes.
पर डॉग जब काटने को आए तब तो रिएक्ट करेंगे ना.
हाँ, वो काटने को आए तब भी आपका ही प्रॉब्लम है. आपने उसे काटने दिया ना. तो
कई बार नहीं देने से भी काट लेता है.
हाँ, नहीं देने से भी काट लेता है. तो कुछ हाँ, कुछ पागल कुत्ते ने काट लिया आपको. ओके, वो जो हो गया वो हो गया. पर उसे याद करके अपना पूरे जिंदगी बर्बाद करना, ये आपके हाथ में. वो क्यों किया? उसने एक बार काटा, आप रोज अपने आप को काटती है. वो पागल कुत्ते ने काट दिया एक दिन, पर रोज आप अपने आप को काट रही हैं. वो कर रही है आप, उसने काटा बोल के रोज आप काट रही, ये आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है। ओके, सो मुक्ति क्या करता है? कुत्ता काटने से नहीं बचाता, अपने आप को काटने से रोकता है। ठीक है, मुक्ति, ये सेशन वेदांत का क्या है? स्पिरिचुअलिटी, आत्मज्ञान doesn't stop the calamities or whatever ongoings of the world. It will rain, like it cannot stop the rain, it's something natural. But छाता तो पकड़ सकती है आप क्यों बिना छाते बारिश में खड़ी है? समझ में आ गया सोनाली जी? तो आध्यात्म जो है, बारिश आना, it doesn't stop the rain, it just helps you, it acts like an umbrella, it stops the rain from affecting you. Okay, when the rain stops affecting you, then you are free to make decisions, then you are free to go where you want. Otherwise you don't go where you want, you go where you are led. Is there a difference? To go where you are led makes you what? It makes you a robot. To go where you are led makes you a robot. To go where you want makes you free. So you want to go where you're led, or you want to go where you want? So to go where you want, you have to become free from what that is leading you. Something is constantly leading you somewhere, giving inputs. Go here, go here, go here, don't go there, don't go there. Okay. That interference has to stop. That interference called ego. That interference called virus. That interference called avidya. That interference is what is sucking out the joy from the present moment. The present is actually beautiful at any point, because the present is real. The present is Bhagwan. You're not able to catch it because of the interference. ये भूत जो है, वर्तमान is full of possibilities. Okay, present is infinite. It has no limit. The present is because it's this moment. Anything can happen. Okay, and you can do anything. You can take any action, and any action you do is a seed for tomorrow. Right? But it prevents you from putting the right seeds now. For example, in life typically, there are important seeds that you have to put. Education is an important seed. If you miss putting that seed, your life will get altered. It will become disturbing. Could become, if you don't have other skills. Okay? Then you have to put the right, in the growing age, you have to give the right food, right seed. You have to take care of the health. If you abuse the body, then you put the wrong seed for the future. Okay? It's so scary to put the wrong seed at the right time. You make the wrong decision sometime. Somebody has a very, very good job, puts some fascination about business, they stop that and they start a business. If they don't have the skill, it's a very wrong move. Okay, they put the wrong seed. That wrong seed will sprout it will give some fruits. Okay, so where you are right now is because of the seeds that you put, and where you will be tomorrow is because of the seeds that you put today. Mukti, putting seeds you will do either way. Mukti will only free you from making blunders. You become free from putting nonsense seeds. You will only put conscious right seed. That is the value of mukti. Because what makes you put the wrong seed is that guy who is talking in your head. Okay, it's almost like he's enticing you. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Okay. And then you regret after doing it. Do you have regrets? Panaji, Sonali ji, you have regrets? Samitra? What is regret?
You care.
I shouldn't have done this. That
Yeah.
means at that time, you knew you shouldn't have done, but something made you do it. And that something that made you is the corrupted record. You want to sit up? You can sit.
No,
समझ में आ गया? तो प्रॉब्लम कौन है?
खुद.
हाँ, सब दिखाइए एक बार, मुझे देखना है. नहीं, सोनाली जी, अभी कन्विंस नहीं है आप?
खुद.
Soumitra, are you convinced you are the problem?
Yes.
So anything that is happening in your life, you are responsible. Okay? Anything that is happening, you are projecting it. You are seeing it because if you're seeing it, that means you are calling it. The outer life is only a reflection of the inner state of mind, inner consciousness. Yeah. बोलिए सोनाली जी.
जब मिस्टेक करते हैं तब तो पता नहीं चलता है ना हमें.
हाँ, तब पता नहीं चलता है. तब पता नहीं इसलिए चलता है क्योंकि आप एक वो क्या इंटॉक्सिकेटेड है. यानी आप अब जब आदमी पी लेता है ना, तो उसे क्या कहता है हिंदी में? नशे में है. हाँ, अब नशे में है. कौन से नशे में है? ये भूत के नशे में है. इसे कहता है माया मदिरा. वेदांत में इसको बोलते हैं माया मदिरा. मदिरा मीन्स अल्कोहल. Maya Madira, you are drunk by ignorance. Okay, and that in the intoxicated state, you start seeing things that are not there. All right. Now, if it becomes too much, it's not a problem. They'll put you in a mental hospital. Okay, if it becomes too much, it's not a problem. But the problem is, if it's in a range, then you can't be in a mental hospital. You have to live in the world. You have to. It's such a difficult situation. That's why God is so compassionate. That's why all the gurus are so compassionate, because they see people. They can't be put in a mental hospital. Most of the people are mad. Okay, but their degree is less. That's all. Okay, but you pacify that, telling that's how people are. Somebody is in rage, and you take that to be normal. It's not normal. In that same rage, if they kill somebody, then you put them in the prison. But please understand that same rage is only eventuality. That action is eventual. You understand? So that is the intoxication of Maya. That Maya means the image. The images, there are so many continuous images that you're not able to see the screen. The screen is Bhagavan. Who is sustaining the image? Okay. Now, how do I become free? Is if you are able to even see the screen, even for a second, in the conscious mind, then you become free. And that's what Shravana does. The speech, the talking, the dialogue, the Upanishad, teaching of the master, shuts down the mind. Not suppresses the mind. Shuts down the mind with logic. Then the mind is able to see the screen. And when the mind sees the screen, the mind becomes free. Then once you see the screen, the images will come back. But now you know that there is a screen behind. Now you don't know there is a screen at all, because you don't know there is God. You don't know what is God. भगवान को अभी जाना नहीं. जब भगवान का दृष्टि होता है, it's called darshan. Have you heard this word called darshan? Darshan means, people typically think darshan is darshan in temple. Darshan means atma darshan, to see yourself, to see your true nature. The moment you see yourself free from the screen, Till now, you're not seen at all. You only know yourself as in without the images. You cannot even imagine what I am without images. What I am without body, mind, thought, feeling, identity. If you're able to see yourself without any image, any sound, any memory, that sight is called darshan. And the darshan purifies, it frees you. That's called Atma Darshan. That's why this session is called Atma Darshan. To make you see yourself. Nothing else is there to see. You have seen everything. Whatever you want to see, you can see in Google. The only thing you can't see is yourself. Nowhere you can see yourself. Mirror also doesn't show. Mirror also shows another image. Okay? When you see yourself, you become free. You become mukt. From what? Memory and imagination. Then you become filled with energy, filled with possibilities, and you're peaceful and joyful, unconditioned. That's all. So I'll take. So this is the introduction, and I told you how we go by this is in each session we'll take up one prakriya. Okay, process of opening up the concepts that the mind has, breaking it open, and seeing what is real. Simple? Any questions so far? We'll take a 5-minute break and then we'll go into the today's prakriya. So any questions so far? Is the problem understood? Problem statement clear? What is the problem statement? It's not a statement, it's only one letter. Me. What is the problem statement? Me. Me is the problem statement. If you become free from this me, then there's no problem. If this me you have not become free from, and any other problem you solve, you are perpetually in problems. Okay, you have some problem, you solve it, but the tendency for you to get into trouble is you've not left, because you're still intoxicated. Okay, so you have to fix me. So Soumitra, any doubts?
No.
Any doubt? Any doubt that you are the problem?
No.
Is it true or not? Suffering, the statement I made is suffering in life is because of you. Is it true or not?
Yes.
Not that you are creating suffering. Is that you are enabling suffering. You understand? For example, some incident happens. Okay, maybe some place. You went to some place and you had some bad experience. That is a one-time event. All right, but that experience enables another experience, which you go to the same place again after some time, or some other place that looks like that. That old experience triggers. You're incapable of having a new experience. That old experience triggers, and you're in a fight mode now. Okay, you have destroyed the present by living, recalling, and enabling the past. Whose fault is that? And obviously, if you interact with it like that, it will also respond. Then, even if that event was not supposed to be unpleasant, will now become unpleasant. Now you have created it. First, you enable it. By enabling, next time you make it happen. You make sure that the same thing repeats again. Because you're so fascinated with the past, you want to see it live. Booth, no? You want to see the booth. And the only way you see the booth is present moment. You're so fascinated with the past hurt, that you bring it, you make it into reality again. Why are you doing that? It's counterproductive. Okay, we'll take it's 4:45 now here in IST. We'll start again we'll take a 10-minute break. Okay. After the 10-minute break, we'll have a 40-minute session. 40 minutes, okay, we until 5:30. Yeah. We'll have a 40-minute session. I'll take up a prakriya called Sakshi Prakriya. Okay, witness consciousness. It is the key spiritual teaching. Sakshi Prakriya. All right. So you have 10 minutes. Take a break. This session will be live. If you have any questions, you can continue to ask questions. So we'll connect back in 10 minutes. Yamaji.
In Telugu, there is a saying, చీము కూడా పుట్టిన దైవ ఇచ్చేనించే.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it says whatever happens,
Correct.
when if ant has to bite you,
Yeah.
has to be
God's will. Yeah.
Then why all this?
Why all
Whatever
what?
is happening in my life and
Yeah.
so many lives,
Yeah.
good or bad.
Correct. What is
If
all
it
this?
if that is said that it happens because of him, because of his ichhe.
Yeah.
Why was his ichhe like this?
His ichhe was like that because you are seeking it.
I am
Seeking it.
seeking.
Lord is like sunlight. Bhagavan is like sunlight. When it said everything is Lord's will, Lord is the enabler. Bhagavan is the enabler. Without Bhagavan, nothing will happen. He is the basis. Okay? Like electricity. If the fan has to move, electricity has to be there. Electricity is the basis. Bhagavan is the basis. Like sun is the basis. Without sun, the plants don't grow. But does the sun know plant? No. The sun enables the plant, but sun has no idea about the plant. You understand? So Bhagavan enables all actions. And you see something, you perceive something, because you have a seed to receive that. For example, you're right now. So without the ichha of Bhagavan, it actually comes from the Upanishad statement that without the will of the Lord, even a blade of grass will not move. Okay? By that definition, this session also will not happen without Bhagavan's ichha. The session will not happen without Bhagavan's ichha. But you are in the session, right? If your ichha was, if you were tuned to something else, I would not be speaking this. I would be speaking some corporate class, or I would be teaching some other text on Buddhism or something. Why are you perceiving this?
My ichhe came here. Yeah.
Your seeking is making this happen.
Yes. But there are a lot of incidents in life which we don't.
So seeking
Yes.
is conscious and subconscious. There are two. Your mind is conscious and subconscious. Right now, are you in subconscious mind or conscious mind?
Conscious.
No.
No. Why?
You think you're in conscious mind. Conscious mind is only a small fragment of your mind. Okay. The subconscious impressions are overriding your conscious perception right now. For example, when you look at me, you see me as an image, some person. The moment you look at me, your memory will open up some record of some spiritual teacher or some man or something. You will try to somehow make sense of what you're seeing. Okay. But what you're making sense and what is reality, are they same? So are you in the conscious or subconscious?
as it said, little conscious and
Little conscious, very little conscious, but mostly you're overridden by the subconscious force. So your life, whatever your experiences of life, is your calling, your seeking.
could not understand this. No.
This happened, this
This-
moment happened.
No, what I'm asking, there are a lot of incidents that happen in one's life.
Yeah.
Without asking for it, or without it just happens with you.
No, that's what I'm telling you. You
You
think
don't
you're not
seek
asking
for
it. No, that's what I'm telling you. You think you're not seeking consciously. But how do you know subconsciously you're not seeking it?
You mean to say subconsciously I was thinking and things didn't happen because of that?
See, subconscious is your subconscious mind is a flow. It's a bundle of lot of records, data. Okay, in that data, and the data is lot of events, memories, and everything. And it's a bundle of desires. Okay, thought that contains thought patterns are generating desires. Now, some desire will come to the conscious level, then you'll recognize it consciously. Oh, this is what I want. Okay, but that subconscious force is actually a call to the existence. It's not disconnect from existence. It's one connected being. So it's constantly asking for something, and that is what happens as events in your life. You are here because somewhere deep down you are seeking it. Consciously didn't know. Okay, then when Vivek came and told, okay, there's a class happening, then you say, oh, I want to go. Okay, let's say Vivek came and told, but you didn't have the subconscious seeking, you would not come. That's why you're the only person here. You understand? You deep down, you had a desire. That desire manifested now. That desire is making me speak. If you didn't have the desire, you wouldn't have this experience.
So it's all whatever incidents that have happened in my life, it's because of my subconscious mind.
Obviously. And that is what is called karma, your karma. You're calling it. For a gnani, what happens? It's ulta. He creates it. He's become free from desire. Okay? He's become free from the subconscious, flushed out. Now that whole energy is there. Whatever he wants, he can create. Then he creates an enlightened world.
Krishna ji.
So I'll give you an example. Forget about you. There's Krishna.
Hello.
I'll just come to you, Pallavi, 1 second. There's Krishna. Then you'll ask the question, then why did Krishna see the battle? Okay? He is free from subconscious. Why should he see the battle? So Krishna is also seeking. Krishna is seeking. Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhana, vinashaya chadushruta, dharma samsthapanayataya, sambhavami yuge yuge. The purpose of my avatar is to do what? Paritranaya sadhu, protect the sadhus. That means he has to project sadhus. Vinashaya chadushruta. He has to project the dushtas that he has to destroy. Dharma samsthapanataya. He has to establish dharma. That means adharma has to be there. So it's all the projection. That's why it's called divine play.
But he's a creator, right?
He's a creator.
He's the one who has made it happen.
You are also the creator. That's why when Upanishads say you are Brahman, you are the creator of your life. Simply they're not telling you are Brahman. There is no he and you. There's only one. He is experiencing world through you. Okay, if something is happening bad, you are seeing it, that means you are seeking it. You say, oh, some war is happening, you can, how did I create it? Yes, you're also part of that seeking. You're also, that has some implication on your life. Everything happening in your life, in world, moves you in a certain way. It aligns your life. Let's say some corona happens, immediately there'll be a lockdown here, right? Something happens somewhere, you will take some action here, right? So life is just making you move towards your own self. So everything happening on the outside is a push towards your own self. Because what you're ultimately seeking is your own self. So some bad situation happens is very good for you according to the subconscious mind. See, according to conscious, you have to understand the difference between conscious mind and subconscious mind. Conscious mind is where you say, where you say this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad. Subconscious mind doesn't understand good and bad. It's like a child. Child with all toys, all power. Now, so this subconscious mind is what takes care of your body. It's what gives you desires. It's what makes you move in a certain direction. It's what gives you courage. Consciously, sometimes you might not feel like doing something, but there will be a subconscious force to it. All that is subconscious force. Now, the subconscious mind is pushing you constantly towards your own self, because what it seeks, the agenda of subconscious mind is happiness. Why is it creating desire? Because it wants happiness. But in the process of creating, reaching happiness, it has to exhaust whatever is there, its contents. Okay? And what you experience, it's an exhaustion of the contents of the subconscious mind. Makes sense? If it doesn't, you can tell. So everything happens by the will of Lord. Lord, nothing happens without consciousness. Okay? Who is that consciousness? It's you. Meaning, if you don't open your eyes and see the world, there is no world. Is there a world for you? Let's say you don't wake up. Is there anything? There's nothing. By that, in that sense, you are the one that is projecting this. Because you're the only one in your experience who is seeing this. You can never tell what he's perceiving, what he's seeing. You are seeing the world. Why you are seeing the world? Why are you seeing the world? You're seeing the world because you're creating it. It's like in your dream. You had a dream. In the dream, you went to Paris. Did God create Paris? What is your name? Hema. In the dream, Hema says, "Oh, there's a God that created this beautiful Paris. Without His will, nothing moves." But actually, whose will is working there? Whose will? Whose will is making the oxygen move there in Paris? In the dream.
No, not.
Let's say you had a dream. In the dream, you became Hema. Dream Hema. Dream Hema is in Paris. Then there is snowfall in Paris. I don't know if snowfall happens in Paris. There's snowfall in Paris. In your dream, it becomes possible. Who's making the snowfall happen?
Me.
The same way, same thing with the waking state also. You understand? The one who's making the snowfall in the dream is the same one who's making all this happen in the waking. Who is that? Who is that? But is it the Hema, the body Hema? There's a Hema in Paris, no? Is she making the snowfall? No. Who's making the snowfall? The sleeping. But the dreamer Hema.
Yes.
The dreamer Hema and the dreamed Hema, are they different? This is the problem. You understood? You are in the dream. There is snowfall. Who is making the snowfall? Not that Hema.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
The
change her
one-
name.
yeah.
Let's make her some princess. Okay, but you are only the princess. You are only in the princess body.
Yeah.
The princess is not creating the snow. Who is creating the snow?
Yes.
Hema is creating the snow, but princess is not creating the snow. Is Hema and princess different? Hema is the princess. Princess is the Hema, but princess is not creating the snow.
Yes.
You are Bhagwan. Bhagwan is you, but you are not making the whole thing happen. When I say you, as Jiva, you're not doing it. But as Bhagwan, you're doing it. Are you and Bhagwan different? Are you and is Princess and Hema different? Does Hema know Princess?
Yeah.
Does Princess know Hema? in the same way. But is Princess Hema?
Yes.
She is not. In the same way, Bhagwan, to experience the world, enters a dream by taking on a dream body, which is you. And whatever is happening in the dream is sustained only by that entity who's experiencing the dream. The moment Princess disappears, what happens to all the people in the palace? Disappear. In the same way, the moment your perception stops, then the world ends. You are the key. Everything else is only imagination. It's not true. That's why the popular the spiritual tradition, there is a problem. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody is there to see it, has the tree really fallen? Is there a sound? There is a spiritual like a koan. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody is there to observe it, was there a sound as the tree fallen? No. Who is there to say? Who is there to experience that?
Nobody will right? But how do you know it is falling?
So the person who is telling it has fallen is the key. The conscious entity is the key. And right now, who is that conscious entity? You are the only conscious entity. Do you know any other conscious entities? That's why you are Brahman. The moment you stop, perceive, the perception stops. Who is creating all this? You only, but your higher self. Like who is creating the snow? Princess only, but the higher self of the princess is him. Now you don't stop at him, you go one step behind. So princess, Hema. Who's beyond that? Who's dreaming of Hema? Princess is third level dream. You think princess is first level dream? Princess is actually third level dream. Princess is dreamt by Hema. Hema is dreamt by real Hema, which is Bhagavan. It's called consciousness. Consciousness has a dream. To experience a dream, consciousness has to take a body. Now, the dream has messed you up. The dream has entered your mind. And did you forget? Or not made you forget? Because you have no knowledge of the real. And you have no knowledge that this is a dream. Vedanta is what you're perceiving is a dream. Brahman is reality, which is your own self. It's not different. Brahma Satya, Jagat Mithya. All the ongoings of the dream is done by whom? Is done by Hema. In that sense, it's not done by Hema. Actually, your Hema is sleeping in Alita Aram se. She's not doing anything. Right? All the ongoing of the dream is done by whom? Done by whom? Hema is not doing it. The snow falling. Is Hema doing it? Who is doing it?
The bigger force, God.
No, yeah. You had a dream. You went to Paris. There's a snowfall. Who is making the snowfall happen?
The person who's dreaming.
She's dreaming in. Why are you putting the burden on her? She's happily sleeping in Alita. Does she even know that there's a snowfall in Paris in dream? Without knowing, how can she do?
It is not conscious mind, right? Subconscious mind which is thinking. That is why dream is there, right?
That's why it's called a dream. There is no doer.
It's not reality.
It's not reality.
Yeah.
And there is no doer for that reality, for that non-reality. The reality is there is no doer. Bhagavan is not a doer in that sense. Because Bhagavan even doesn't know Maya. Like how you don't know how the lady sleeping in Elita doesn't even know of the snowfall. But the snowfall will not happen without her. But she's not doing it. So then who is doing it? There's no doer. Spiritual realization, this is called, is the key of spiritual realization, is that there is no doer. In life, there are events that are happening. Everything happens, but there's no doer. The problem is, how can something happen without a doer? To address that is actually part of the upcoming sessions. How there is no doer, how actions happen without a doer. I've just gone a little ahead because you asked, but the reality is there is no doer. Just the way that snowfall is happening, who is the doer? You tell me, who will take ownership of that snowfall? Okay, in that Paris, the princess sees somebody murder somebody. Who is the doer? Some tsunami happens, global warming. Okay, in Paris, there's some meteor strike. Who did that? It's a dream. It's a spontaneous happening. There's no doer. So what happens when you realize there is no doer? What happens? The doer is what makes the dream into reality. The moment you remove the doer, the dream becomes a dream. In the dream, there is no question who is the doer is irrelevant. Who cares? It's a dream. Right? That who is the doer is relevant if it's real. If it's a dream, that question is also part of the dream. The one who is asking the question, who is the doer, is also part of the dream. Does it make any sense of that person asking? In reality, existence is a pure non-doing. There is no doer in existence. Everything is just an appearance in consciousness. An appearance is a dream, it's not real. Now, how can you tell? How can you call something happening in the dream as action of God? Like, it's like telling something happening in Paris is action of Hema, Elita Hema. Which is absurd. Did you get the point? What I said? Is there a doer? Everything is just a projection, appearance, disappearance. It's exactly like a movie. The screen alone is real. It's like telling the screen is doing something. Somebody is in the movie sitting somebody. Nothing is happening there. There's a fire in the movie. Does the screen burn? It is just conceptual. So for this conceptual world, so when the Upanishads say even a blade of grass doesn't move without the will of Lord, the teaching is to say that first is to remove your individual sense of doer. You have a sense of doership. I am doing. To tell you, okay, you are not the doer. You cannot do even a small thing without the totality cooperating. Okay, then you learn, so okay, I am not the doer, totality is doer. But that's not the end, that's just starting point. Because that's what you can understand. To reveal the second part of it needs a personal dialogue. That is not found in books. That is the importance of Guru. All these first level attributes you'll find in Google. You'll find in Google, Tattvamasi, everything. But the technology to decode that and go to the next level, you'll not find. That is only rested with the master. And that only happens individual, master to disciple. It's a private conversation. The Upanishad started with the statement, nothing moves without the will of Lord. It's to bring you to the point to understand the next part of the story. That's not the full story. tell you that God also doesn't do anything. Because from God's point, there is no grass. What grass will move? It's like telling Hema, you're making it snow. There's a blizzard happening. She doesn't even know of the blizzard. How will she make it happen? Understand? Okay, I think we got extra break time. But I will, for the others who missed the thread, I will address the topic of doership in the upcoming session. It's a prakriya in itself. So today's prakriya will take up witness consciousness. Pallavi ji, you heard a question?
Yes, Krishnaji. Now I'm still facing the time and space as so real, and I'm still in a dream. When I'm saying I am as Pallavi, I'm still in a dream. So the question appears real for me, and that is why I'm asking this question. So obviously, I'm not able to talk. Sorry. If somebody doesn't talk to me, is that also my projection?
Yeah, obviously. Everything is a projection, right?
Okay.
Everything is happening. Existence is showing you some image to, and when I say existence, you're perceiving something.
Now I'm trying so that say, for example, if I try so that I try to make the other person talk, so I'm trying to project other thing.
See, please
but
understand.
If that doesn't,
yeah, so I got the question. The question is, there is something happening on the outside which is against my will. I want something, but the opposite is happening. Okay, while I want this outcome, but the complete opposite is happening. Even that, am I creating? Am I projecting? Right? That's the question. That's the question, correct? The question is, I want something, but the complete opposite of what I want is happening on the outside. How am I projecting that when I clearly want something else? Nature, existence, is responding to your deepest urges and call. Okay? The deepest call for all of us is to, one, because you are, like I told, if you followed the thread earlier, you are in noise, mental noise. The deepest urge is to become free from mental noise. Okay? The deepest urge is to become free from mental noise. That is like you're drowning and you're asking for oxygen. Okay? That is what is addressed by nature. Okay? Nature doesn't address you might think, okay, by getting a $10 million, I'll become free. My noise will go. Okay, then you will tell, oh, I am seeking $10 million, but I am experiencing poverty. How is that possible? Okay, nature is moving you, pushing you towards inch by inch. Why inch by inch? Because you are the one who's rebelling. If you are receptive and sitting in front of the master, ready to listen to the teaching, Tattvamasi, over. You are that. You are free. Immediately you are free. You drop your junk, over. You're enlightened. And in the time of the Upanishad, that happened. Many people only required one meeting with the master, one teaching with the master. You are that. All that junk, toxic junk is dropped. Over. I am not that. Okay. Now, if that has not happened, so that means there's a inner resistance. Just a moment. Yeah, sorry, the laptop died out. Are you able to hear me now? Everybody, Pallavi ji, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, yes, Krishnaji.
Okay, so where did you lose me? Which part? So in nature is responding to your inner urge. What is your deepest inner urge? Talking to that person, is it your deepest inner urge?
Yes.
No. What will talking to that person do? What will talking to that person do to you? That is what you seek, not talking to that person. You seek what that experience of talking to the person does to you. Talking to the person is a means. You seek an end, and that's what nature responds to. Because from nature's point of view, it cannot keep you dependent on something limited, something that has an end. Okay, if your joy is dependent, if your peace is dependent on interacting with somebody, then it's a problem. And that person has what, 60, 70 years of life or anything. For you, so for some people it's a person, some people it's a money, some people it's something else. They're all means to an end call, an ultimate end call, my freedom. So whatever is required for your freedom, your absolute freedom, is what your deepest inner urges. Does it make sense?
No, not fully. That's okay.
You seek, the question was, I seek something, but the complete opposite is happening. How am I creating it? Because consciously you seek a means, but subconsciously you seek an end. Nature is responding to the end, not to the means. Nature is responding to the subconscious end, not to the conscious means. You do not seek talking to the person. You seek the outcome of talking to the person. You understand? You do not seek the presence of that person. You seek what that presence does to you inside. You seek what happens to you inside. You don't seek the outer. You understand? When people travel, they don't seek, they go to Paris, they think they are seeking Paris, but they are seeking the joy that what they feel inside. For some reason, they have put the condition that I will experience that joy only when I go to Paris. You understand? Now, if you could directly get to that joy, will you go to Paris? You might or might not, based on you'll do it out of joy, but it's not for that joy. You understand? So nature responds to your inner feeling, not to your outer thought. So you are creating this, yes, because intuitively you know what is right and what is wrong. Intuitively you know what matters and what doesn't matter. Intuitively you know what is bondage and what is liberation. Intuitively you're always moving towards liberation. Okay? But there's a conflict. That conflict of conscious and subconscious mind has to be resolved. That's all. Is that clear?
Yes, Krishnaji, thank you.
Okay. So let us take up Sakshi Prakriya. There is Rajnikant. Rajnikant is Rajnikant. He's a famous actor. He's superstar. He's great star and everything. Then he gets a new role. He has to play the role of Raja. So the name is Raja, but he has to play the role of a angry young man who's poor. Now, come with it. It's important. So Rajnikant has to play the role of Raja, angry young man, poor angry young man. He's playing the role. And he's so immersed in the role that in the role, the shot is outside, so many people are there, and all those people are called extras. Have you heard of extras? Extras means they're just people who are made to be on the set to show that there are so many people in the scene. They're all actors. They're all part of the set. So many extras. Now he doesn't know so many people. There's so many extras. He doesn't know who's extra, who's not extra. He doesn't care because whoever is playing along is assumed as extra. He's playing the role of Raja. Okay? And he's frustrated as Raja. He's frustrated in everything. He's just acting. He's a very good actor. He's very convincing acting. Some non-extra civilian comes to Rajni sir and he asks, "Who are you?" Okay. He's a foreigner. He doesn't know Rajnikant. He has never heard of Rajnikant. Foreigner comes and he asks, "Who are you?" What is the response of Rajnikant? No, he'll say, "I'm Raja." He thinks he's an extra, right? He thinks he's a part of this. He still thinks it's a part of the show. He thinks he's still in character. Oh, this person is also character. He's asking me. So what will he say? He'll tell, "I'm Raja. My name is Raja." Okay. Then this person probes. He says, "No, no, no, no. That is your role you play. I know this is a movie. I'm not part of the set. Who are you really?" Then what he'll say? He'll tell, "I'm Rajnikant."
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'll ask you, who are you? Who are you really? Who are you really? Your answer to I'm human is like Raja telling, "I'm a human." Does it make any sense?
And I'm Hema, you didn't take that.
Because you are not Hema.
Why?
Who are you really? Why do you think you are Hema? So the problem in life is consciousness is playing a role, like Rajnikant playing a role called Raja. Now the problem that has happened is while he is immersed in the role, he's a very good actor. He's immersed in the role. Somebody hit on his head, and that blow made him forget that he's Rajnikant. Now he suffers as Raja. That is all our lives. Consciousness, your consciousness, pure absolute reality. Okay. You took on a role called Hema. Now, forgetting what you really are, you start becoming the role. First thing is you become the body. You have the body of a woman. Okay. Raja's body, they've done makeup and everything, and they've given him scars and everything. Now he takes that to be real because he's forgotten who he is. He doesn't know it's unreal. You understand? There are a lot of attributes associated with the role that he starts taking as real, and that he starts taking as himself. Now, as the role, because he's forgotten he's Rajnikant, he starts thinking, "I am poor." And with that sense of poverty, he starts getting stress. Is that real? What is the problem? He's forgotten who he is. Okay. So consciousness takes on a body to experience the world, but it forgets that it's consciousness. So Shiva becomes Jiva, but forgets that he is Shiva, then the problem starts. Now, as Jiva, he is limited. As Raja, he is constrained. As Rajnikant, he is expanded. The teaching of spirituality, Tattvamasi, is you are Rajnikant. You are that. You are consciousness. You are not the role that you think you are. Now, the solution is very simple. All you have to do is, it's a two-part knowledge. First, you have to understand who you are. Raja has to understand he is Rajnikant. And he has to understand this is a role, this is not real. This is a movie. You understand? It's a two-part realization, but it happens in one go. The moment he understands Rajnikant, he understands both. Either he has to understand he's Rajnikant, either he has to understand this is a movie. Anyone will have the Ekmar two pieces, right? Either you have to understand, separate out yourself from the role, or you have to understand what you really are. Okay, so this is the Prakriya now. We will separate out what is role, what is me, and what is not me. Do you all understand it? So what is me is very, very clear. No guru, no book, nothing has to tell you. You are a conscious entity. Meaning, let's say the room is dark. If I ask you, is there a table in the room? What will you tell? You don't know. Is there a lamp in the room? You don't know. Are you there? Yes, because you're a conscious entity. You know yourself. You know you exist. That is consciousness. Pure knowledge of I am, I exist. Okay. Now that is not the problem. The problem is that I am, that I exist, which is pure, gets associated with something that is not consciousness. That is called anatma. Atma and this anatma. Now atma and anatma mix up. Okay. Now this prakriya is about separating out what is atma, what is anatma. So the typical story told in the spiritual tradition is Rama, when he's in Vanvasa, he goes to ashram of the rishis, some rishi, and a lot of people have gathered there. A lot of great sages have gathered, and the host comes. The host has never seen Rama. Okay, then he goes Sita Mata and asks, "Who? Please tell us who is Rama." Okay, then he points out, "Is this Rama?" Then Sita Mata says no, this is not Rama. Then he points to the second person, "Is this Rama?" She says no. "Is this Rama?" She says no. Then Rama is there. "Is this Rama?" She doesn't say anything. Okay. So she is removing whatever is not Rama. So whatever is not consciousness, whatever is not you, you have to remove out. You understand? What will happen if you remove out?
What you are living.
You currently are suffering from your memory because you think you are that memory. You understand? You think it happened to you, but in reality, nothing happened to you. You are not able to distinguish what is Atma and what is Anatma in that memory. If you're able to distinguish, you become free instantaneously. So I'll take you to I'll tell the process of doing it. So everybody understood what is Atma? Atma is consciousness. Okay, it's a subject, pure subject. Anatma is Jada, inert. Like this is Jada. Is there consciousness in this? It is not a conscious entity. It is Jada, inert, object. So all we have to do is separate out what is object and what is consciousness. Chetana, what is Atma, what is Anatma. Is this clear? The process clear what we are trying to do? What is Atma? What is Anatma? This is called Atma Anatma Viveka. Okay? And Atma, consciousness, is just a Sakshi, a witness. Is just pure witness which knows. It knows the presence, it knows the absence of objects. It knows there is and it knows there isn't. The one that knows is Atma. Okay, that is a conscious entity. The definition of Atma is clear. Everybody clear? What is Atma? What is Anatma? Now, let's take some experience. Okay. If anybody wants to share some experience for me to dissect, I can do that, or I can create more of my own experience.
What kind of experience?
Any experience, anything that troubles you, any memory, anything. Anybody, offline or online, anybody wants to share any experience for the purpose of the exercise, we can take up. Otherwise, I can cook up my own.
It troubles me a lot that my husband deceives me all the time.
The husband deceives me. Okay.
Yes.
So let's go back to one experience. First time you got deceived.
Yeah.
First time you got deceived, the deception happened. I don't know the details. I'll just abstractly I'll take it up. So there's you and the husband.
Yes.
Husband deceived you. The first time was a big hit. How could? Because that was never expected. 10th time is okay. Same. It's like okay. It's a habit. The first time is the hurt. Right? The first time deception is, oh, how could you deceive? How could you do that to me?
Yes.
That hurt continues. And any deception, you're only recollecting that main hurt, first time or second time, whenever the main hurt was. Okay, that is the experience. Now, in that memory of the first time deception, what are all there? What are the contents of that experience? There is husband, there is me. Okay, there is husband and there is me. In this, what is Atma? Is a husband Atma? Husband is Anatma, is object to you. Understand? So remote husband. Whatever is object will remove. The object created some sensation. Okay. So what happens? The experience happens. The only way an experience happens is the object has to interact with you through your sense perception. That is the only way you can experience something. Let's say you want to eat ice cream. I want to eat banana. For me to experience banana, first banana has to be there. Object has to be there. Then I should have an instrument to experience it. I should have a mouth. I should have a sense organ. So when the sense object contacts with the sense organ, then experience starts. You understand? So sense object, sense the object, then sense object, so sense organ, which is body. Then what happens? Then this contact creates a feeling in me, either a pleasant feeling or an unpleasant feeling. When I eat the banana, what is the feeling I get? Pleasant feeling. That's a good experience.
Yes.
Now, when you interact with the husband, what is the feeling you got? Unpleasant feeling. Okay. So, what is the process? Object, sense, feeling, pleasant or unpleasant.
Yes.
That feeling creates thought. First is feeling actually. First, when it hits you, the experience, you don't think, you just feel horrible.
Yes.
You feel disgusting or horrible, whatever.
Yes.
Okay. That is a feeling in the body. Feeling in the body, is it object or is it subject?
So it has to be.
No, that's the problem. You are not feeling it. Who is feeling it? Body is feeling it.
Body is an object.
Body is an object.
Yes.
So all that body feels is what? An object.
Object.
The problem is there. sense, object, senses, which is part of body, contact, which creates a feeling. The moment a feeling comes, you subjectify the feeling.
That is also an object. It becomes an object.
It is an object, but what have you done? You said, I had a feeling.
Yes.
Who had the feeling?
The object that.
The body had a feeling. The feeling is Atma or Anatma? Feeling is Anatma.
Yes.
Why did you make it Atma? Why did you give it a conscious reality? That's the problem. What was an object which was Jada, dead, you brought it to life by telling it happened to me. Story is not over. Okay, that is feeling. Now feeling is okay. Feeling, did it last? How long did it last? Feeling doesn't last much. Feeling lasts a couple of hours, maybe days. If it's deep trauma, it lasts for days. But feeling, the body goes through changes. Okay, body releases other hormones. If you exercise tomorrow morning, the feeling will go away. The body will release good hormones. You feel good hormones. Okay, that's why it's jara. It disappears. Now the feeling remains as thought. There's a memory of that feeling. You understand? Is memory Atma, Anatma? Anatma. Now the thought creates a reaction in you as another feeling, sad feeling or angry feeling or whatever, and that reaction creates action. That feeling creates action in you. You shout or you cry or you do something. This is a cycle. The cycle is sense object, sense organ, contact, feeling, thought. Thought creates feeling. Feeling creates action. Which is Atma in this whole cycle? Is thought Atma? Thought is Jada.
Yeah.
Thought is like a picture appearing in computer. The picture says, oh, this is a good picture. The Google tells, we recommend a restaurant. This is a good restaurant. Does Google have any understanding of good, bad and all? It is an insentient being. Only a sentient being can make sense of it. So in this whole cycle, which is Atma? No. And what are you? You're Atma. You're conscious being. Where are you in this whole picture? The problem is you associate yourself with the body. That is the starting point. Then you associate with the feeling. Because I am having the feeling. When body was having the feeling, you're telling I am having the feeling. Then the feeling created some thought in the mind. Then you tell I am having the thought. Okay? Then the thought created some feeling. You're telling I am having the feeling. If you're able to become Sakshi, now that's the same thing. Now you told me the story. Do I go through all the feelings and thoughts and all what you went through? Why not? Because for me, you are an object. I'm able to see you. It's happening to somebody else. Understand? In reality, all this is happening to somebody else. Something else, not even somebody. There's no somebody. Atma is only you. It's just happening to a machine. When you're able to see that as a Sakshi without associating with any part of that cycle, then you're free. You are actually a witness. You are a witness of the sense object, two objects meeting. You are a witness of the feeling arising. You are a witness of the thought coming. You are a witness of the reaction coming. And you are a witness of the action happening. Nothing has happened to you. You understand? So let us relive that now. Let us go through that same situation, same experience, but as a witness. And witness is Sakshi, unchanging. Sakshi doesn't change. Okay. Sakshi doesn't do anything. Sakshi just pure knowing principle. It's just a witness. Has anything happened to Sakshi? Nothing happened to Sakshi. Even if you cut the hand, anything happens to Sakshi? Nothing happens to Sakshi. But the problem is, the Sakshi gets deluded I am the body. Then when the hand is cut, it feels, oh, something happened to me. But has something happened to Sakshi? Nothing happened. The Sakshi is, when you say I, you are referring to Sakshi. But you're confusing it with body and mind. When you say I, let's say you say I, that the experience happened when, for example, let's say 5 years ago. 5 years ago, that experience happened. What from 5 years is there right now? That husband is there?
Yeah.
No. That body, that husband who created that, what is that? Earth. That body is not there. It's a different body. Body is gone to changes. Is that body there? Is that object there that created that experience? Is that object there? It's not. It's changed. In a day, you breathe, right? Every time you breathe, so many cells are born and cells will die. The body constantly goes through changes, right? That body of the husband, you think it's there, but in reality, it's changed body. It looks similar. That's why you say it's the same body. But the body has gone through changes. That mind has gone through changes. Your body has gone through changes. Your mind has gone through changes. That feeling is not there. The thought also is not there. The thought that comes now is a new thought. You understand? Is the same thought coming? Is the same thought that comes from 5 years ago now? It's a new thought, no? That comes now. What from that experience is there now? Is there? I am still there. I as a body, mind, intellect have changed. But I as the I, pure I, is still the same. But that I didn't have that experience. That I only witnessed that experience. The problem is you confuse that I with the changing body and mind. So Jara, you mix with Chaitanya, Chaitanya, consciousness. Now let's go back to the experience. The experience itself, is it Jara or Chaitanya? Is it Atma or Anatma? Anatma. Why? It's an object.
Yes.
All experiences are objects. But you think experience is subject. You understand? It happened to me. As if it's subjective. But is it a subject or an object? You get the question. Is experience an object or subject? Experience is subject? What is experience? Experience is the whole cycle. This whole cycle you call as experience. Is that an object or a subject?
That's an object.
That's an object. What is the subject here? The one who is seeing it. The one who is feeling it is still object. The one who is thinking it is still object. Is the mind. The one who is feeling it is the body. The one who is thinking it is the mind. Okay? The one who is acting is the body. The one who is knowing it is what you are, Sakshi. You are the knower of all experiences. You are beyond experience. Okay? And all experiences are false. Because the moment that experience is over, nothing of that experience remains. The body changes, the mind changes, the thought changes, memory also changes. Memory also, when you recollect the memory, right, you only recollect some corrupted version of what actually happened. Something significant might be happening there, you will not recollect. You understand? So you're referring to, when you say memory, experience, you're referring to something that happened to some objects. And now, none of those objects are there. So what is your experience? What is the definition of experience? This cycle of object, senses, feeling, thought, reaction, happening once, but never existing again. Yeah.
Which is Sakshi kind of thing, right? This has happened with,
This didn't happen to you.
I mean, the object.
It happened to the object.
Yeah.
The problem is you think you are the object. So to understand, the teaching is, I am not the object. I am subject. I am Atma. I am not body, mind, or intellect. So next time, so what is the solution? Meditation is when you close your eyes, that experience will come back again. Be Sakshi. It is repeating again and again because you are involving it. You are becoming the body, mind, and feeling. You're becoming object. Become subject. Become Sakshi. Just watch it. Nothing good, nothing bad. It's just an image. Appears, disappears. And nothing of that is real. If you're able to watch it without having any interest from it, without directing it, without telling this should happen, that should happen, just a witness, then you're free from it. Then you're an Atma. So, Mukta, the Gnani, is a Sakshi. Krishna is a Sakshi. So many things happen in front of Krishna, but he's a Sakshi. Nothing touches him. Something touches his body. Something that touches his mind. But he doesn't confuse himself to be the body and mind. He's able to objectively look at whatever is happening and know that I am this witness and none of this is happening to me. The moment you say it's happening to me, it happens to you. Because what you are Brahman, whatever you say is real. You understand? Vivek? Meditation is that. Meditation means not seeing some images. Oh, I see God. I see peace. Something's happening. Something good is happening. Some energy is moving. No. Just a witness to whatever comes. Without saying this should come, that should come. No. Demon come, watch it. Watch it. It's unreal. Whatever is seen is unreal. All objects are just a projection of the mind. You understand? So if you're able to be a witness, you are unhurt by any ongoings of the world. You're Sakshi. And becoming Sakshi heals you. So Sakshi is Bhagwan. So first to catch Bhagwan, you have to catch Sakshi. You have to become Sakshi. The moment you catch Sakshi, that which is taking the form of Sakshi, which is Bhagwan, will reveal itself. You understand? So first you have to distinguish between body, mind, and Sakshi. Sakshi is consciousness. Body, mind is object. When you say me, now what does this mean? Is it Atma or object, body, mind? When you say me, you have to fall back to Sakshi. I am Sakshi. The moment you say Atma, body, mind, then you're trapped. I am not the thought. I am the witness of the thought. And the thought is unreal. You understand? Everybody understood so far? So to become Sakshi is to just witness this whole cycle. When you're able to witness this whole cycle, next time when it happens, and you can never be free. In life, something will happen. Something will happen to the object. Object is, whether it's body, mind, or something will happen to it. The only difference is, when it happens, you're able to be Sakshi to it. So Ramana Maharshi had a cancer. Body had a cancer. He's able to witness this whole cycle. Disease comes in contact with the body, creates a horrible pain, suffering, creates maybe some thought of pain, the cycle, that's the one experience. But he is Sakshi to that experience. And when we become Sakshi to the experience, from the thought, another reaction doesn't arise. You're able to watch it at the thought level. At the seed level, you're able to catch it. Because the thought is what creates the next feeling. You understand? When you're able to watch the thought, so when you close your eyes, the experience comes back. This person did this to me. Thoughts will come, but just be a Sakshi to everything. Everything that appears is like images appearing on a screen. You are the screen. Witness. And anything that's appearing on the screen doesn't touch the screen. The problem is you think you're part of the movie. You're not. You are the screen. The screen is Sakshi. You understand? The character called Hema is an object or is Atma? It's an object. Now, if Hema is object, whatever happens to Hema, does it affect you? It doesn't. Then how will Hema's life be? It will be exactly like Rajni's life. You will play the role of Raja, you will play the role of Hema, but you will always know I am Sakshi. I am Rajnikant. You understand? Otherwise, you always think whatever is happening to Raja, you think it's happening to Rajnikant. No. Sakshi is always untouched because Sakshi is Atma. Whatever has happened to you so far, whatever you said, so many things happened to me, I suffered and all of that has happened to object, to a character, which is an object. It has happened to Raja, not to Rajnikant. You are consciousness. You are Sakshi. Okay. So let us close our eyes and just sit as Sakshi. Just be a witness to thought, feeling, emotion, question, anything that may appear, anything that's thrown, don't respond. Just be a witness. Because anything that it is thrown, any story that is told, that this is important, the mind calls your attention. This is important. Pay attention to this experience that happened to you. It's all false. Nothing happens to Atma. Just become a witness to all the psychological objects. Feeling is an object, thought is an object, experience is an object, memory is an object, world is an object. I am Sakshi. The moment a memory is triggered, something from the past or trauma, the moment you identify with it, there is a feeling. The moment the feeling arises, just objectify the feeling. Feeling is an object. Feeling arises and dies. Thought arises and dies. I am screen, consciousness, Sakshi. Slowly open your eyes. What is the answer to the question? Why this happened to me? Now you tell me, as Sakshi, what is the answer to this question? Nothing happened. The me itself is an object. You understand? You are a Sakshi. You always were, always will be. You're playing the role. Problem is, you get too identified with it. Meditation is taking some time out and becoming a witness to this whole cycle. Then, when you become a witness, the movie stops for some time. Then the screen is visible. Then you will see, in the absence of all objects, including me, what I call as me, the role. In the absence of the role, I am there. I know the absence of the role. I know the presence of the role. I am the one that knows. That is the only reality. Consciousness. Everything else is Jada. Jada is something that is illuminated by consciousness. Something that is dependent on you, your reality. You understand? Any doubts? Pannaji, Sonaliji, Soumitra?
Krishna
Mr.
ji,
Sakshi is
so
understood.
when I,
Ah.
sorry, so say for example, there is some kind of emotion that I go through. For example, say if I cry, for example, I observe, as you say, the feeling rises and then it comes down. I observe. I really stay in a Sakshi Bhava. And then what?
Observe the and then what? The problem is you're not
Sorry,
observing
what?
and then what?
So I'm observing.
Yeah, that's it. Find out what's there after all the objects die out. Find out what's there. That is not an answer that I can give, right? So when you observe, when you don't give reality to any thought, feeling, emotion, then they die out. Then there is not even a thought that, and then what? And then what also is a thought, right? Any thought that comes after that, observe that also. There'll come a time when thought doesn't arise. There comes a time, that's what I told. The movie stops. There comes a time when movie stops. All this, and then what? What happens after that? Oh, this is boring. Now what? All that is part of the movie only. There'll come a time when all thoughts stop. Okay? Then a pure witnessing remains. In that pure deep silence, that's called Shanti, Param Shanti. There, the that which is there is where you experience yourself, where Sakshi knows itself, not as an object but as consciousness. There's nobody to say and then what. See what happens when you reach Sakshi. Sakshi is witness, right? Sakshi means witness. Witness means seer of something. When there is nothing, there will come a time when there's nothing to witness. Thoughts have died, everything has died, patterns have died. There's nothing to witness. When there's nothing to witness, the Sakshi goes back to original form, Parabrahma, which is beyond all words, that cannot be told in words. But what can be caught in words is Sakshi, witness. That's why all pointers stop at Sakshi. Brahman cannot be pointed at, cannot be spoken about, because it's beyond experience, beyond thought, beyond subject, object, everything. Any other questions? Saumitra? Panaji? Who are you?
अभी तो I am Panna, but like to be Sakshi time लगेगा.
टाइम लगेगा? अरे आपने ये ऐसा बोलना है कि राजा को रजनीकांत बनने के लिए टाइम लगेगा. उसे सिर्फ जानना है कि मैं रजनी. आप जो पन्ना बोल रही हैं वो एक नेम है, एक बॉडी है, एक माइंड है, पर वो जब ये सब जब नहीं है तब भी है. आपके डीप स्लीप में ये सब नहीं है, पन्ना नहीं है, रोल नहीं है, नेम नहीं है, तब भी आप है ना. वो कौन है? वो आप है सच्चाई. वो आपकी सच्चाई है. अभी भी आपकी सच्चाई वही है, लेकिन आप वो ऑब्जेक्ट को ज्यादा अटेंशन दे रही है. ये समझ में आ गया? आप साक्षी हैं. तो ध्यान क्या है? साक्षी बनना ही ध्यान है. मन के खेलों में मत उलझो. एक्सपीरियंस का साक्षी बनो, थॉट का साक्षी बनो, सेंसेशन का साक्षी बनो. जब आप साक्षी बनते हो आप मुक्त हो जाते हैं. वरना वो keeps repeating. Okay, can we close the session for today? So in the next session I'll continue with the Sakshi Prakriya. This is just a beginning.
Is this a new batch, Krishna ji?
Sorry?
Is this a new batch? Is this a new batch?
Yeah, this is a new batch.
Okay.
Okay. Shall we close for the day? Any other questions? Soumitra, is it clear?
Yes.
So you are not object. You are Sakshi. You are consciousness. You have to always distinguish between what is consciousness and what is Jada. Thought is not consciousness. Experience is not consciousness. Memory is not consciousness. Body is not consciousness. Mind is not consciousness. What is consciousness? Sakshi. And you are that Sakshi. And it is in your own experience that Sakshi has never, nothing has ever happened to that Sakshi. Something's happened to body, something happened to mind. The moment you take the standpoint of Sakshi, then you are able to disassociate. That's why the Brahmagyanavadi Pala says, Asangoham, 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 Puna Puna. Sakshi by nature is unattached. It can never get attached to anything. The Sakshi and Jada, consciousness and matter, are of two different elements. Like they're like oil and water. They can never mix. They can never touch. The problem is, in between there is a entity that makes them touch called ignorance. That ignorance is forgetfulness of Sakshi. Okay, Rajnikant and Raja can never touch because Raja is unreal. But the forgetfulness makes the Raja feel that he is Raja. So we'll close the session for today, and we'll take up Sakshi Prakriya again in the next session. And this is the way the sessions will progress. It will be about inquiry, taking up a Prakriya, understanding what is real, what is Atma, what is Anatma. Atma, Anatma, Viveka. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om, everyone. I'll communicate about the next sessions on the group. We'll have planning to have 2 sessions per month. Earlier it was 1 session per month, but just to keep you connected. Otherwise, you forget what happened. If it's 1 month gap, people tend to forget. So we'll have every once in 2 weeks. Okay. Whoever is interested can continue to join. And like I said, again, it's an open forum. Free to join, leave as per your will. Any questions from today's session? You can continue we'll use the group, WhatsApp group, for continuing the conversation. There might be questions that you have not yet thought of and you want to ask, you can ask on the group. Okay. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
I think the session.